Hype Podcast Studios.
Hi, I'm Melissa. Welcome to the first episode of the Coaching Dimensions podcast, where people, policy and success come together. Today I've got with me Terry Harris from Amazon. Hey Terry.
Hi Melissa.
How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on the podcast today.
Thank you for coming. So we'll just get straight into it. Tell me about your journey.
God, where to start? So my safety journey wasn't a real cut and dry. I left university and I wanted to be a safety professional. It was a very roundabout way, and I kind of learned the hard way, if you let's say that. My journey in health and safety started when I worked in the emergency department in one of the hospitals in Liverpool.
Okay.
I was the clinical support worker, I think it was called, and I used to run the minor injuries unit during twilight hours. And the porter and department kept leaving cages outside the area where I was taking patients to X-ray and getting them from the waiting room, and I fell into one of the cages. But before that, I'd told them several times not to put the cages there. So I went bouncing to the nurse in charge of the ward and said, who's the health and safety person for the department? And we didn't have one. So she said, do you want to be the health and safety person? And I said yes, obviously not knowing what it would turn into or where, a new career path, because I kind of wanted to be a nurse. And that's it. That's the starting point of my health and safety journey. I went on to study my diploma in health and safety, which the hospital paid for. I went on to do my degree in environmental health. Excuse me. And then after my degree in environmental health, I found my first job as a health and safety manager for a different hospital. So I moved up quite rapidly, which meant that it was a real steep learning curve for me, because I didn't know how to be a health and safety manager. Just applied potluck and got the job. But I did something right, because I'm still doing it today. But and then I just went from there, really. Bounced back to my original hospital when the vacancy came as the head of health and safety. Spent, nearly 19 years in the NHS. Left before my 20th year anniversary, so I didn't get the little clock. But then I found a position at Amazon because the hospital was going through some turmoil, and joined Amazon, got the job, and new career started.
Here you are.
Yeah.
So with tell me about your role in Amazon at the minute. Just give me like a brief.
So my role in Amazon, I'm currently the head of UK health and safety for Amazon Transportation Services. So that's like looking after logistics networks, so land, sea, railroad and air, and all of the sortation centres as well. So I'm responsible for setting the standards, setting the strategy, and implementing safe systems of work in the sortation centres with the team.
So you have a team?
Yes, I have a team. Yeah, I have a really big team, actually.
Yeah.
But they're all scattered across the country.
So tell me what makes a great team.
I think building trust with stakeholders and trust with your team makes a great team. You can have all the processes and procedures in place that you want, and they can be implemented perfectly. But if the trust isn't there in the teams, then you've lost everything. And it comes into fruition when you're having honest conversations with like key stakeholders, like directors or VPs and things in any business. If the person doesn't trust what you're saying, you can have all the facts, the qualifications in the world. It doesn't work.
So how do you build that trust, like you've just said, into, you go to the C-suite, to the guys who are on the transportation floor? How do you build that trust? Is that different?
It is different. And it's because, and if you feel like it's all the same and you can use the same hat for everything, then again, you're going to fail. When I speak to the teams on the floor, even when I worked in a hospital, it's about understanding what's important to them. What makes them tick? What are they passionate about? What problems have they got? And honing in on that, and then starting conversations. Just as we're having a conversation now, you have to have a conversation. If you go in there with a clipboard shouting at people, it's not going to work. And the same with the C-suite directors. What do they care about? They care about data. They care about making sure that we are a safe workplace. They care about making sure that the people on the shop floor in any business are fine. And how do we get that across? So when we're talking about, let's say we're talking about an initiative or a concern or a problem that you've highlighted with incidents, it's no good speaking to a senior level C-suite director to say, oh, we've got this problem and this is what I think we should do. You've got to come with receipts, you've got to come with data, you've got to come with why this is a problem for them. And that's how you build their trust, showing that you're competent, you're professional, you understand your craft and you understand what makes them work as well. So I think holistically you've got to take that big view of everything. You can't just go one hat fits all.
Yeah. So you need the business case, don't you?
You need
yeah.
Absolutely. Data's like incredibly useful when you want to get a decision, especially if you want money or something like that, right? But when you're making big decisions, if you don't have the data to back up your argument, it's just you with an opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I know you're big on psychological safety. That's something that you really try and instill with your team as well.
Yes.
How do you do that?
It's somebody, I think it was Simon Sinek said, being in a leadership role isn't about managing people. It's about taking care of the people that are in your charge, right?
Yeah,
and that's what you've got to do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So with succession planning comes change.
Yeah.
And with change, there can be some difficult feelings going on with change in teams, like fear. There can be excitement. There can kind of be like, there's just big feelings when it comes to change. How do you keep that safety and that trust when you're going through a change process?
I think change can be positive. It can also be quite negative. In any business that you work for, in my own opinion, I've been through workforce changes when I used to work for the NHS. Changed my role through promotion. That was positive. But I think it's setting people's expectations and making sure that you are understanding how the change that's happening, be it a positive or negative, how it's going to affect the individual, and helping them through that, navigating through that situation. Because even positive changes can sometimes have negative feelings of, oh, am I ready for this promotion? Can I do this job? Buying a car, buying a dog, it's can I look after this animal? Change is difficult. So I think being clear on your expectations, understanding how the change is affecting the individual, and then supporting them through that.
I love that. I love that. Well, it's people again, isn't it? It is genuinely down to people. And I know, like you said, we can have huge policies, we can have all the procedures in place we want, but that's not going to hit where it needs to hit.
No.
And you need the involvement from your people, don't you? Yeah.
If the people aren't on board, then you're on a losing streak, right? You've got to bring people with you. It's about that circle of trust as well, is where you can share the extra bits of information with the team below the team that you're line managing, having conversations with them to making sure that their opinions are heard, like skip level conversations. We've spoke about that in the past. And really getting understanding how change is affecting people is the key takeaway there. Yeah.
What kind of challenges have you faced as a leader in terms of... I'm sure there's many. But is there like one reoccurring challenge that might come up time and time again?
Absolutely. I have huge imposter syndrome.
Okay.
I've had it since I went from a band 3 healthcare support worker to a manager, because that was like Friday I was the healthcare support worker, Monday I was the health and safety manager, and I was responsible suddenly for this team, for these procedures, for this policy, providing sort of qualified advice. I knew my craft, and I was confident in what I was given, but the imposter syndrome was always sitting in the background, and it still does today, even though it's quite lesser than it originally was. So yeah, I would say that single thread throughout everything is imposter syndrome, which is still a little bit there, but I'm getting better at managing it.
It's quite common that, though, to be fair, because I deal with a lot of multi-million-pound companies who people who are at the helm, who are responsible for all these people.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is still a very real thing. How do we deal with it?
I think you've just got to accept that it's happening.
Okay.
I think you've got to accept that it's happening, but also work your way out of it. Feel trust in yourself. I watched this film, I can't remember what it was called, where the guy was looking in the mirror and he was saying, I can do this, I've got this, I'm good at my job. Say that in the mirror.
But there's something to be said about that, isn't
absolutely.
there? Definitely.
Build yourself up, you're qualified, you're competent, you've got a good job, you've got, even it extends to outside work, right? You've got friends, you've got a good family around you. It could be a million different reasons why you're feeling the imposter syndrome. And I think mine started from a family member who I was feeling super confident one day and said something which knocked me down a little bit. And I think from that moment, that stemmed. So it's not really imposter in work, it's an imposter in everything.
Yeah.
But I think you've just got to accept it's happening. Understand that you are good at your job, you are qualified, you are competent, and you know what you're saying and you know what you're doing. And like I said before about the data, you've got the evidence and the receipts to back up what you're saying.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a really good point you make, actually, about where does that imposter syndrome come from.
Definitely got to find out where it started from.
Yeah, and to think about it, because when you said about when you were younger and you'd said something, I think I'll admit I get imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It is entirely normal, isn't it? But it is definitely something that's rooted from being much younger. It's not... And it's not about seeking external validation and whatever else. It's like you said, you've just got to process it.
Yeah.
Because it is entirely normal and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, and you are right, everyone has imposter syndrome. I've worked with C-suite directors for most of my career, which was partly why I felt a little bit of an imposter syndrome. But everybody does have it.
Yeah.
I've got a mentor at the moment, they have it, like, it is common. Yeah. But I think it's recognizing that you're not the only person as well that's feeling the way you're feeling. Yeah.
Fair enough. So I know that you love to see other people growing. You love to put other people where they need to be, where they want to be. Tell me why and how you might do that in different kinds of scenarios in life, not just in work.
Yeah. There's nothing better than seeing someone doubt themselves and then you support them through that promotion or you support them through delivering that project and you're sitting back and you're going, look at you go.
Yeah.
It's really cheesy, but I like the feeling of seeing someone who is doubting themselves go on to do exactly what they wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
And knowing that I've played a little part in developing that person's career.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling. I think as well, it's okay to kind of ask for that help if you're in that situation where you feel like you might not be getting it. Do you approach people? What was your perspective on that?
I would say get yourself a mentor. If you feel you're in a situation where you're not getting support or you don't feel like your career is going in the way that you want it to go, and that might purely be personal to you, but I would definitely say get a mentor. If you want to go on a career journey, you want to be a manager, you want to lead people, you want to take on the responsibility of having people in your charge, which is very difficult, get yourself a mentor. That's definitely what I would say, because that really can help. Because it's somebody who's not directly in your line management. It doesn't have to be anyone in your work. It doesn't even have to be someone in the same profession. But it's someone to bounce ideas off. It's someone to champion you and to be that cheerleader for you, right?
Exactly.
But also give it back and help someone as a mentor as well, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So are you a mentor yourself at the minute?
I do mentor a few people, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's obviously rewarding, isn't it?
It is quite rewarding because they all bring different challenges as well. So everyone's in different stages of the career that I mentor. I've got people just starting out, just finished like an apprenticeship, for example. And then I've got people I actually mentor someone who's, let's say, just become a director in the NHS. But I also have mentors in NHS and private sector myself.
Yeah. And obviously you yourself at the level you're working at now, you've got a mentor.
I do. I have 3 mentors.
You've got 3. It's a bit greedy, isn't it?
It is a bit greedy. But they're all for different things.
Yeah, of course. But like the message there is that it's never, like you've just said, with somebody who's gone into a director role in the NHS, with somebody like yourself who's over, in a big corporate role across the UK, there's always room for somebody to have a mentor and to get that kind of cheerleader.
Yeah, absolutely. Never think that you don't need a mentor and that you know everything, because you don't. No matter what level of job you're at, no matter where you are in your career, you absolutely don't know everything.
Yeah.
And it's super key to recognize that and then get yourself a mentor. And we're going to talk about the Johari window later, and I use that as like a little self-directed way of what am I missing to help me with the conversations with my mentors.
Okay, so well, let's do that now then. Let's talk about the Johari window now. Sure. Nice segue there.
Nice. So I mean, this is something I used a little while back, and I recently did an update when you sent it to me as part of the interview, and it's a really good tool which helps you identify what is stopping you from moving forwards. It's like a self-awareness model, and it's really good. I mean, it's only as good as the information that you put in it, and you've got to be super honest with yourself. You don't have to share it with anybody, and it is just yours to keep. But it does help navigate those actions personally, what you want to do, in order to take that next step in your career as well. But also I use it for my personal life. So there's a couple of things in there, like which I'm super not good at cleaning the house. I have a cleaning lady. That's something which I want to do away with because it's an unnecessary expense. I just need to manage the house a bit better.
It is a boring task though. But with the Johari window, I know I've used it myself in the past. Sometimes I do find it useful to share it because getting somebody else's perspective on, like, actually, I don't see you that way. That's not how you come across. But inside, I suppose it can kind of link back to the imposter syndrome and how you present yourself. But it is a useful tool, like you said, whether you use it on your own.
Yeah.
Or if you do kind of share.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're going to share it with your mentor. Right?
Somebody trusted.
Or share it with your friend, right? Don't share it full on the bat with your line manager, let's say, because there's things in there which you might not want to share, right? And that's okay.
Just keep that share. It's a circle of trust again that you mentioned earlier, isn't
absolutely.
it? And just keeping that circle of trust where you know you can be vulnerable. Because it's important to be vulnerable, right?
It is. Yeah.
Vulnerabilities. You're writing a book in the background, aren't you?
I am writing a book.
Can we talk about that?
We can, yeah. I think I've read a couple of leadership books. I've been given a couple by previous managers, and none of the books that I've read have really honestly said this is what leadership feels like. And I want to do that. I want to write a book, or I'm writing a book. Sorry, keep knocking myself to say I am actually doing this. I want to write a book so people can read it who are just starting out in the career, to get a really good understanding of what it actually feels like to be a people leader. Because it's not about, putting a flag up in the air and going, right, come on, follow me. It's more about being a conductor in an orchestra. You've got a million people doing a million different things, and you've got to make it harmonise, right? And you've also got to take care of the people that are doing that for you, right? It's not just about being in charge and being leaders. And that's kind of what the book is. It's some personal stories of my own, in different organisations, different leadership positions. But really, in honest to God, this is what it means to be a leader, and this is what it feels like. And these are some snippets that might help along the way.
What does it feel like to be a leader?
In my opinion, in every company I've worked for, it can be absolutely great, but it can also be quite exhausting. And there are things that people just don't understand about leadership, right? It's not just delivering a project or managing a team successfully. You also, people call you with personal problems as well. People, you've got to look after people on works nights out. You've got to support this person's career journey because you've been in that position before, right? You know everybody in that room wants to get to your position or a different position in a different business. And it's about really helping people understand as a roadmap, like, this is what you do, this is how it feels, these are some of the things that came out the woodwork that I didn't even realise I was responsible for. Somebody's, pets died, or you've got to really support individual people. You spend more time with people in work than you do with your own family, which is a terrible data point, but I think that's true across the UK, right? In any business, in any organisation. But again, that's also something that you control.
Okay, so being a leader, how do you manage the day to day and kind of keep everything together and in order?
It is difficult, and you're either really good at this or you're not. I'm in between, and I think it's my opinion in any business that some people do go home with no emails or like a 0 email day, but you've got to set yourself some expectations, right? You make some to-do lists, organize your diary with the facilities available in different colors, different categories. Make sure that the mechanisms are in place. So if you have to write a report by the end of the month, it should already be planned in the month before. It's a reoccurring thing, so plan for that, right? I would definitely say planning, organisation, and giving yourself some structure. Even things like going to the gym after work. If that's something you've set yourself a goal for, make it a routine. I've just started going to the gym after 10 years. It's killing me, but I needed that more routine in my life to do that. And it helps with work as well, because you know that you have your breakfast, you go into work, you do your routines, you do your lists, you do your things, you go to the gym, and that's your routine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've just got back in the gym after about three weeks off. But it really helps me mentally.
Absolutely.
It kind of helps fight that overwhelm that you can sometimes get when you feel like you've got 1,000,001 things going on. It helps me sleep at night.
Yeah, it does, right? And I'm a big believer in the gym does help your mental health, because it does. It definitely takes your mind off things. It allows you to decompress. When I first started out in my career, way back when in the NHS as that first manager, I got so overwhelmed. And that's when someone suggested, I think it was the occupational health manager, suggested to go to the gym to help with my mental health. And it did help, because it helps me decompress. And then, all the lessons that I've learned have been tough lessons, right? Because I came from not having a clue about the job that I enjoyed after my degree. So I've kind of learned the hard way that you've got to look after yourself. And if you don't look after yourself, then what's the point?
So what hard lessons have you learned
oh, God.
that you can share with us?
Well, quite a few, actually. Definitely read a paper before you submit it. Especially if it's going to the board. Definitely check your own work or get someone to look at it. Definitely stay organised as much as you possibly can. That definitely helps.
So, as a successful leader yourself, what kind of key takeaways would you give away, really, to our aspiring listeners and watchers?
Yeah. I feel like an oracle now. No, definitely believe in yourself, right? You've got a goal, you've got a journey you want to go on. Stick to it, right? Don't let anybody tell you can't do something. Get yourself a mentor, understand your craft, and do some research. Make sure that you become that SME in the subject that you're wanting to be a leader in, right? It may be health and safety, it may be environmental health, it may be something else. But you've got to understand the craft and the business you're going in, so do your research. I've mentioned getting a mentor, which is actually quite crucial, because the mentor that you should pick is somebody who's been on that journey or is ahead of you in that journey as well. That also helps. And make lists. Always make lists. Be organised, because that's you see leaders going, I'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll go for a jog, and I'll have a bowl of bananas and grains with some low-fat yogurt, and then I'll go to the gym, and then I'll do... It doesn't work like that in reality.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge, right? You're responsible for people if that's the direction you want to go in. But you've got to make yourself a routine. You can't get up at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning and expect your day to go great. You've got to make a routine.
Have a strategy, right?
Have a strategy.
Thank you, Terry. I've enjoyed today.
Yeah, I've enjoyed
today. Thank you for being a guest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for listening. If anything you heard today resonated with you, then feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you on the next episode. That was quite a good episode with Terry, wasn't it? If you want to know more about the Johari window, click the link in the post and get your free download for an information sheet. See you next time.